Hey guys, this is DJ Strick, and I have something going on here in the studio where everything is kind of bouncing around, and I have to figure it out. So give me just 1 second here so I can get the music to stop in the background. So don't tell anybody, but I have like what you call this, I would call it like an airplane cockpit in here. I wish I could show everybody what it looks like, but I keep it so junky that I would be embarrassed to show you. This is my office, my studio, my everything. I'm always here. And today I had one computer going with the playback, and you were hearing the audio from that. So I had to just kind of shut that off. Why not start the stream show? The Streamers Hub like that, right? Just start off with what we call just a mistake and see if that'll work. How people stream. Live streaming just goes that way. Sometimes streaming happens. I appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. Even if you're watching in the replay, please let us know where you're watching from. I have a good one. We've been talking about search engine optimization all month, but I have a special guest today to add to that conversation, and we're going to talk about it with live streaming. So if you're a streamer, someone that, of course, you're part of this audience that's always here with me, this is going to be a good one for you, and I don't want you to miss it. So I need you to lock in just a second with me on this show. But before I go into all of our guests and to everything that we have going on today, this is what I want you to know. It's like every other time. If you want to be a part of our partnership streaming program, it is very easy for you to do that. I want to throw up this slide so you guys can see it. Now, I talk about this all the time, but every now and again, I know that somebody is sending an email. Guess what? If you're a streamer and you say, hey, I would love to be a part of what OneStream Live has going on, join our streamers partnership program. All you have to do is send your profiles, your social media profiles. Of course, I say the one that you have the most followers, the most likes, all that kind of stuff. Send it there to content at OneStream. That's OneStream.live. So content at OneStream.live. Send your profiles there. Say, hey, I'm interested in being in your streamers partnership program. Or you're someone that knows the importance of making money online. You love being online, but guess what? You got to make some revenue out of it to make it really fun, right? Be a part of our affiliate program. Yes, affiliate marketing program. Guess what? All you have to do is sign up. You really don't even have to be a customer. At least be part of the free program so you know exactly what OneStream Live is all about. Find friends, family, associates that can use this system to go live or to use pre-recorded videos. Send them your link, and if they purchase, you get 25% recurring, 25% recurring commission. It is really that simple, guys. It is really that simple. Now, that being said, I really want to talk about this SEO and how it could work with live streaming. And to do this, let me get the panel on today to talk about all of this. So I move some of this around. Matt, Erica, I'm coming you guys' way to get you onto the stream. Boom, boom, there he is. There's Matt. There's Erica. How are you guys doing?
Hey. Good. How about yourself?
I am great. So, Erica, I know you were working to update your computer before you came on. Everything is cool?
I'm open. Fingers crossed.
I get it. And hey, guys, I appreciate you willing to share our panel time today with our guest. So I have a guest here. Her name is Laura Jawad, and she is actually a SEO strategist. But not only that, she works in women's health as well, helping women that are in health get their information out online, more than just your website. So we're going to talk about her background, which I think is really unique, and also how we need to rethink our search engine optimization and how we can do that with our live stream shows. I actually told you guys the other time, I think the last month when we were on, I started my wife's 24-hour channel.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, it's still going, and I'm up almost 300 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So it's doing that ticking thing. So the biggest part of it is with the 24-hour channel is that I'm watching the impressions, and my click-through rate started at 1.5 and now it's up to 1.8.
Okay.
Which means, now Matt, you can help me out with this. It means that YouTube is trying to figure out who to recommend this to, and as the algorithm change to who her audience is, the click-through rate should go higher and higher and higher.
Should go up.
Yeah, it should go up over time.
For every recommendation, you get an actual view or impression. Somebody that clicks, or you get a certain percentage of that.
So what I'm actually trying to do is I actually went through her whole channel, and I'm going to ask Laura about this, if this all makes sense, and redid her description of the channel, taking out some of the things that I thought could be misleading to who she was or who she is, and just pointing it towards, flute and smooth jazz, and seeing if that helps the system with all of those keywords that I noticed she needs to show up in. I'm telling the computer that. Without any further ado, guys, let's just get Laura on, hear her story, and then help ask the questions that she can help us with to actually use our live stream shows in a better way and see if we can grow our audience with our search engine optimization. So, Laura, thank you so very much for being a part of the show. Thank you for your willingness to come on today.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate it. I'm excited to talk with you all.
Now, I think what you're doing and your story is phenomenal, but I want you to kind of help Matt and Erica out and kind of explaining how you got into being a search engine specialist.
Yeah, sure. So I got into search engine optimization as a small business owner. So in 2017, I started a small business in response to a problem I had, which is that I was trying to figure out how to do my sports and be athletic during my pregnancy and then recover postpartum. There wasn't a lot of information. I had to teach myself, and I decided to become a pregnancy and postpartum personal trainer and ultimately a birth doula as well. Social media is not my jam. And so as I was trying to figure out how to market my business, and especially going into 2020, when my in-person work, I stopped seeing in-person clients. I took everything online. I had to figure out another way of existing online and marketing myself online. And when I did post to my social media, the thing I loved doing was my 2,200 word captions, like the long form content. And I started moving that over to my website. And I started to notice as I did that I was getting traction from my website. And I started to learn more about that. And ultimately, just long story short, I invested in my SEO. I learned how to use my website to grow my audience and build my client roster. And I was able to run a booked out doula business and a booked out personal training business off of my website. Whether or not you can do full funnel SEO marketing right now is a whole other question. But when I did that, it was a pretty unusual way to market, particularly personal training services. And so I had a lot of people asking me for help. And so I was informally helping people with their SEO for years before I decided to productize that and actually launch my own business. And I'll try to keep it brief. Before I was a personal trainer, I was a PhD research scientist. I have a technical background. I love technical work. And so the SEO really tickles that technical part of my brain I love.
I get it.
The thing that's so fun about what I do now is I still get to impact the populations I want to impact. I work with a lot of service providers, a lot of physical therapists, a lot of people in health and wellness. And so I get to help a lot of people by helping the providers who help them. So it checks a lot of boxes for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I tell people all the time that I'm on a soapbox about finding your niche. And it's that thing that you love, that you're skilled at, and that actually meets a need or answers a question for someone else. And it sounds like you've found that.
Yeah. I think I'll be sticking around here for a while.
You think you'll be sticking around for a while? Okay. I like it. Now, you also said really quickly that you think the full-fledged funnels may be gone right now. Explain that.
Well, I think that, when I started my businesses in 2017, I think SEO was a very different beast than it is right now.
Okay.
So when I started my business, I think you could say that the pillars of SEO in 2017 were easily your keywords and content on page, your tech, and your backlinks.
Okay.
And now
that's changed, Laura. That's not like the formula anymore.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think those things are still really important, but at that time you could do those things really well, and that could push you to the top of the search engine results page. Right. Today there have been so many updates in the last year. Right. Just looking at the last year, largely in response to the influx of like AI generated content, and there's so many changes with large language models. With the new updates, the pillars are more like, some of them remain, keywords and content, tech. Those things are still really important to get into the index, right? But to really rank well, I think you also now have to take into account your brand authority, which encompasses your backlinks, and then user engagement. Google is tracking all of those things. And so it's not enough to just produce encyclopedic content on your website and use it to funnel in top of funnel traffic. Like, you have to be producing content that people want to engage with, and that other people, your authority, your reputation, other people also have faith in, right? That other people trust. That's the word I'm going for, trust.
I get it. I'm moving you around here just a minute so I can get you full screen, and we can be small here, because I really want to focus on what you're saying. You really have led me, Laura, into some of the things that I wanted to talk about today, of course, which is the branding piece of it. So if we talk about search engine optimization, and Matt and Erica, please jump in anytime you guys get ready to ask the question as well. But when you talk about branding, of course, I'm thinking, and you just said this, I could just, write a whole bunch of blogs, almost daily or weekly on my page. And those blogs will help me with my backlinks and engagement and all of that. But you're saying that is the old style. Now you need to figure out how do you brand around that. Can you explain that branding piece?
Yeah. And I think that stuff is still important. You still have to have, and right now I'm talking about traditional website SEO, because I think that when we're talking about live streaming, we're talking about something a little bit different.
The live streaming would be a part of the engagement to your website, right? So it's content that you're making. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it. So it's content that you're creating for your website. But I guess one thing I'm a little unclear on is exactly who your streamers are, because when I live with a bunch of gamers.
Okay.
Right. My teenage stepson watches Twitch like all day.
Right.
And I think that if you are, the way I think about it, I think this has been really interesting for me to think about. Like, if you're a live streamer and you're thinking about SEO, like, your website is probably important because it's still the one property you own and the place where you control your visitors' experience. But it's okay if when someone searches your brand, your live streaming platform shows up first.
Got you. That's okay.
Right? Like, it's still like that search should still surface your entire digital ecosystem, which includes your website. But when we're talking about live streamer SEO, I imagine that it's okay if your YouTube channel comes up first.
Well, doesn't that add to the authority overall?
It does add to the authority overall. And I think it just depends if we're talking about online visibility or if we're talking specifically about website SEO.
Right. So I want to balance that today, Laura, to talk about the website SEO and to talk about how you get that with your live streaming. So for the most case, our live streamers will be more of YouTube live streamers that are either service providers, that are business owners, product makers that are trying to get their product visible. People like myself that will do tutorials, how-tos, but still have a website that they know they want to send traffic to. And there's tons of other applications out there that you can use, landing pages and all of that. But we want to teach people how, because with Onestream Live, of course, your live stream, whether it's on YouTube, it can still be on your web page where people can still find your content. The idea is the engagement that you can get on a live stream in YouTube can go further than anything else. Of course, YouTube and Google being connected as the search engines, it just helps if you can garner any kind of engagement or customer base there as well.
Yeah, and I think that like YouTube, I mean, YouTube is the second largest search engine,
right,
after Google, right? And I think if you are creating a platform in YouTube and you've got your website to show up in organic search, I think you can create a really lovely virtuous cycle of oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word. They feed forward the SEO, right?
Gotcha.
So if on your YouTube channel you are cultivating, like you're engaging with your audience before, during, after your live streams, right? You are doing things on YouTube to increase engagement, for comments. Maybe you're creating playlists that keep people on longer, right? If you're going to rank higher in YouTube, you can also use that platform to send people back to your website if you're not streaming from your website, or maybe you've got it in both places. But as you rank higher in YouTube, it does increase your brand, right?
Right.
Those videos are going to show up in video search in Google, right? So they support your website SEO. They support your SEO by almost giving you double visibility, because now you're visible in video search and you're visible in like the blue links, if that makes sense. Like your website and those videos have opportunities to show up.
Gotcha.
And
So
then
that makes sense. And you were asking a question, Matt. Let me bring you over, Matt, so you can ask your question.
Well, I was just going to ask, and I'm so sorry for the lighting. I'm on travel. I don't have all my stuff with me. So if you can...
Matt, we rather you have dim lighting.
Oh, thanks. So with the website, or I guess the YouTube visibility, and I guess it really doesn't matter what platform you're using, because essentially you can add some form of link in the description of every streaming platform based on my experience, including the new ones like Kick, Rumble, some of the other ones. So would that not also add to your backlink authority from high level domains, things like YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, that increases? And I don't know how they do, whether it's a follow or no follow, how that all works on their back end, but I would imagine that there's some form of SEO boost when you have those links added within the video streaming platforms themselves, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that YouTube videos impact your SEO in a number of ways, and backlinks is one of them. Like the opportunity to drive people, like to include calls to action during the stream itself and send people to the website is another way, because Google's tracking engagement, right? If people are viewing your website in Chrome, like even if people are coming to the website from a source other than Google search, they're still tracking engagement. They're still tracking that traffic. So you're getting backlinks, you're getting that immediate engagement. And then, yes, it's building it's continuing to build your authority in your digital ecosystem, which then, brand authority is essentially a multiplier on your search placement, right? That's one of the things we learned from this big leak that there was so much talk about earlier this year. So I think it's like really multifaceted how your YouTube channel and those videos helps your SEO. Now, of course, if you're streaming on your website, like that helps in a whole different way, because if people are watching your videos on your website, then you're keeping people on your website for a really long time. Like a killer engagement.
So
I have a question.
Okay.
I think Erica had her hand raised, Matt. Just 1 second.
Sorry.
What about the people who don't have a website? Any hope for people who are using what's the third biggest search engine? Is it Facebook? What if or Reddit or Quora? Any of those? Would those backlinks help if you don't have a website?
If you don't have a website, then backlinks, like what are you backlinking to?
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so I think if you don't have a website, then you're thinking about like how do you take control of your page one of search results? But ultimately, in my opinion, which is biased because I work with a lot of small businesses, right? And if you have people who, if your streamers are a lot of small businesses, like you need to have a website, right? That should, to really own your search results, to own your page one, that needs to be the top search result. If you don't have one, like, you can still dominate you can still kind of own your page one, but now you're leaving it up to other people, right? You're leaving it up to other platforms that you don't own and may not present you in precisely the way that you want to be presented. So it's like the ultimate reputation control is to have your own website and have that show up as number one.
So this is something, Erica, I know that you've talked about before. At least I know on your show, Elle has talked about this. A website is your owned, you own that real estate, and everything else is just borrowed real estate. So if someone doesn't have their own real estate online, that's step number one, right, Laura? Like, regardless, like if you're listening to this show today or you're watching us live, I want you to stop and build yourself a website, a one-page website with your picture on it. Let me do this real quick, Laura. I'm sorry. Real quick, with your picture on it like this, have an about tab, who you are, and then whatever thing that you're doing, another tab with that, and then another tab with how they can contact you. Those are just an easy way to get started with a web page. And I'm sure Laura would tell you more about what your web page may need, but you just need a way to have your own real estate, your own house online. And that's so important because we can't optimize something that you don't have. And every other thing that you've seen online is just good backlinks. So everything else that you've seen online that you could be on, and to have a landing page here and then this thing there, and LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, those are all things that hopefully you have a link to your page or some kind of thing to your web page that people can click from those other social media sites. Am I right in saying that, Laura?
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as spoke. Sorry, Erica, what was that?
I was going to ask DJ Strick, are you saying that you could get away with a landing page and that would be okay until
for a website?
Yeah.
So
let me clarify. I think any when you're talking about that, Erica, a single page, because a landing page typically has a very specific use case. When you think about it from that aspect, it's meant for conversion and it has a specific call to action. And if you're just trying to build awareness by having a website to bring people to, the landing page itself is another form of conversion to get people to your actual page. I think if you look at it from an actual formal perspective. Now, people use landing page styles all the time for different things. But really, I think what he's getting at is just, it doesn't matter if you're a single creator, if you're a coach, if you're just a person who's getting into streaming and you just want to tell people about the stuff that you're streaming about, you want to post your streaming schedule just so that people can have somewhere to go to see what you do and when you're streaming. Doesn't matter if you're earning money now or if you're just doing it for fun. If there's any potential opportunity for you to monetize your streaming in the future, or to increase, or if you have a goal to increase your following at any point in the future, every single person should, whether it's an individual or a business, should have at least a single page design, if not a multi-page design. And that needs to be, and Laura can go more specifically into this, but as far as like the content that needs to be there, has to be very, very, it has to be niche down and keyword rich. And then, she can get more into the SEO tips and tricks as far as like what kind of stuff to put in there, meta descriptions, meta title, all that kind of stuff. But everybody, again, going back to the whole concept, if you don't have an address, nobody knows where to go. And none of this stuff matters if you don't have a home on the web. So.
Would you agree with that, Laura? And what would you say are the fundamental things that someone would need if they're just getting started from a basic standpoint?
So I think if someone is just getting started, a website is better than no website. And so if you're someone who's starting out and like your jam is really like the live stream itself, and you've got to get a website up there to sort of claim that space, stick your flag in the ground, a one-page website is fine. A one-page website is going to be really hard to rank well in search, simply because there's no knowledge base associated with it. And Google, your website has to be a destination in order for Google to send people to it, right? If you've got one page on your website and there's not a lot of content there, it's hard to convince Google that you're an expert in anything. You know, people who are content creators have a knowledge base, and you can use the blog as a blog. You can use it to showcase podcast show notes. You can use it to showcase your live stream archives, your video archives, like whatever it is. But like you create a knowledge base. Now you're giving the robot context about your expertise, and not just the robot, but searchers, right? Like, because ultimately Google is trying to give searchers the best experience. So all of that is to say, like, if you're just starting out, start with a page. Like, we all start somewhere.
Right.
But if you're a content creator, host your content on your website in some capacity.
Gotcha.
You know, we're talking to content creators here. So everyone's got content. Put it on your website so that Google understands your expertise. And so people who land on your website easily understand your expertise, and they don't have to like go hunting around the internet for you. Now, I'm a big believer in, like, we talked about this, like, I think of it as a hub and spoke. So your website is the center of that digital ecosystem. And then like it links to your YouTube, right? To and from, right? You have a link from your website to your YouTube, and your YouTube links back. Maybe you're on LinkedIn, same thing, right? But it all comes back to your website. You do an interview with someone, like I asked you, like, please put a link from this interview or this panel, like, back to my website.
Right.
Everything goes back to the website, and it helps tie that whole ecosystem together. And that goes back to like the brand cohesiveness. It's a way that Google can track your brand. The more you link these things together, the easier it is for Google to understand your brand.
Now, I have a question for you. I did not know, Laura, so I'm learning this today, that multiple pages, and when we talk about pages, it's like the additional tabs that you can do on a website. So it's djstrick.com/about or /about, /blog, /videos, /connect or content. All those things are the additional pages that also get ranked.
Yeah, and some of those pages are more likely to rank than others. And when we say rank, just to be clear, it means that we're coming up like prominently in the search results when someone types in a relevant query, right? And so for someone like me, I want to rank for something like small business SEO services, right? For
I'll just say this. When I was doing my research about you, Laura, I just typed in your name, of course, and your LinkedIn profile was the one that came up first.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to click on it and then read through your bio and all that information. It was just really easy. So yes.
Yeah, you want to be you want to be really findable, right?
Right.
Typically on a web page, the home page is going to be one of the highest ranked pages. The about page often ranks well. Services pages rank really well. The contact page doesn't typically rank for anything.
Right.
But it is important because one of the things, Google ranks content on the basis of what they call EEAT, expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness. One of the ways that Google evaluates the trustworthiness of a website is how transparent it is. Does it have the proper disclaimers? Is it citing things properly? And also, how easy is it to contact the person behind the website? So contact forms are really important from that perspective. And of course, on a one-page website, you can embed a contact form. But really, when I'm talking about like a multiple page website, it's like we have those basic navigation pages: home, about, services, contacts, and then your knowledge base, your blog, your videos, your whatever that content is.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I learned that today. I did not know that multiple pages actually matter, and having them there, because I have seen.
And you also consider that like each piece of content you create creates keyword opportunities, right? It's almost like little back doors into your website. So even if like you don't, I mean, Google needs all that knowledge base to create your topical authority, to understand your expertise. But from a keyword perspective, each page, each blog post is another opportunity to get found. It's another keyword opportunity. It's another backdoor in. So by posting all your content there, you're also just creating all these additional opportunities to get found, to get people on your page.
I like that. I like that. So does it matter if those pages are visible or not? Does Google know if those pages are visible on the website?
That depends on how you set up your website.
Gotcha.
I imagine that for most creators, those pages should be visible unless there is a specific reason not to have them visible. If you have like a special, perhaps you have a special archive of content for subscribers and that's behind a password or something like that, then maybe that's not indexed, or it's, but
Right.
for your run-of-the-mill archived on-demand content, it should be visible.
I got you. And I'm a content creator that, we're always trying to figure out another way of getting around it. I can have a visible page or a non-visible page that has a whole bunch of content on it that hopefully could get seen or found through the search engine to get to my homepage, but that's not how it works at all either. So I'm just asking the question because you just never know.
Yeah.
Just never
No,
know.
all great questions.
So one of the things that I am interested in is how we merge this. Okay, how do we merge your search engine optimization for your web page? And we talked about this a little bit, but I want to be sure that we really home in on your live stream.
Yeah.
There's a guy by the name of Roger, and I want to say his name is Wakefield. He is a plumber out of Texas. Okay. He has how-to videos on YouTube. So basically, he started really small with his own plumbing company and decided to do YouTube, but he did how to fix these things. He made $1 million, I think it was, 2018 or so. He started making $1 million on YouTube with his videos, and also made $1 million in his local company. So not only did people know about him all over the world, but the local business grew as well. And I'm just trying, I understand it from a service industry, how it could actually work, but how does that work? Not just with service, because we want people that service to understand that you could be branded and actually show people how to do what you do, and people will still call you because they don't want to do the work. Glad you showed me, now come fix it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And from how to people that are doing content, like teaching other content creators as well, like me. Like, how does that work together? Your search engine optimization along with live streaming.
Along with live streaming. Okay. So going back to the very beginning of this call, we were talking about how in this like new era of Google, user engagement and branding are so important. Right. And so where I think the opportunity with live streaming is that with live streaming, branding and user engagement have always been important, right? In order to have your content found and ranked well. Those two things have always been important. So those are not new concepts to people who are live streaming.
Right.
I think if we hone in on, let's say, YouTube, and you double down on these things, you want people to come to YouTube and type in your brand name directly, right?
Okay.
You can work on increasing your brand awareness through collaborations with other streamers, with other influencers, have guest hostings, right? So you're increasing like your brand visibility. You're taking advantage of your other platforms to distribute information about your content about your brand. You're using your newsletters, like you're using all these avenues available to you to reach people, to inform them of your brand, to reach new audiences through those collaborators, and then hopefully drive people back to the channel. So if you're the plumber, like the next time, like I've consumed one of those videos to fix something in my house, the next time something breaks, I'm just going to go look for his channel, right? Or I'm going to type in his name with the exercise. Yeah, like I've got, you know, in my like fitness world, there's certain personal trainers that I have a lot of respect for, and I know they create good videos. So if I need an instructional video that I don't have in my library, I will type in their name and like the video that I want, and I'll just search their stuff, right? So gotcha. You want to create that name recognition. And then obviously through like a platform like Twitch, you know, that branding is even more important, and the user engagement, like the concurrent users and the engagement it's even more important, right? But the more that you can encourage those branded searches within those platforms, and then you engage with people before, during, and after your streams. And we, you know, that could be calls to action during the live stream itself, or the format, like encouraging like Q&As, like promotions, give it like whatever you're doing to encourage engagement there, and you're increasing your rank on these platforms, that's going to feed forward into your authority in Google, right? So you're both driving traffic directly through calls to action, but you're also you're creating that authority that is going to matter when Google is evaluating how authoritative your brand is.
Because they're seeing all of this traffic and the sources that they're coming from. I'm saying that because I can see the analytics from YouTube, but there are also ways that Google can see all of the analytics. Is it important, now that I say that you do your Google analytics as well to know where your traffic is coming from?
I mean, I like to know my numbers. I like to know where my traffic comes from, because that way you're not making assumptions about things that have good ROI. Or if you know that you want to get more traffic from a certain channel, you know, it gives you the information so you're not just guessing.
That's right.
So I encourage anyone I work with to have their Google Analytics and their Google Search Console set up with their website so that they can track numbers. Now, they're not always the easiest platforms to use, and you can have someone set up nice dashboards for you, or, you know, you can use third-party software to get like a prettier interface. But I think it's important to look at your numbers. If you're not looking at your numbers, you're just guessing.
I got it. So Erica, I know this is all down your lane as well as some of the things that you talked about or seen. Is there anything questions you would have for Laura about this?
Yes. So last week, Claude put out their pitch deck for their Series B funding round, and they're saying that their advertising is going to be search-based. So if one of the examples was Nike sponsoring a search about running, and that's how people are going to see their ads. Do you have any opinion on using the AI search and SEO? Like maybe how regular people like us live streamers can get in on this?
So I'll say this is not my zone of genius, like how to tap into the AI search. I think it's all so new.
It is new.
And I don't yet see it impacting. Like the AI overviews aren't taking away from my traffic or my clients' traffic, right? I mean, the Google algorithm is changing, and like my traffic has fluctuated because of that, but AI is not yet directly impacting me as far as I can tell, which isn't to say it's not the future. And I know there are a lot of people thinking about like, how can we optimize our content to show up in Search GPT or you know, show up in an AI overview. I would say I'm not like the specific person to give you like the most up-to-date information on that, but I think it will come down to continuing to double down on producing really great content, you know, and building all these other factors in, right? Like working on building your authority, building that trust, cultivating that engagement, because this AI is going to go to the same places that Google goes to find their information, right? They're going to go to the authoritative experts.
You're so right in saying that. And AI is going to go to Google to figure out what the searches are. That's interesting. Good question, Erica. I want to know this, just so, Laura, that we're straight on this. Now, first of all, for people that want more information from you, you have a website that just talks about marketing that can help people through all of this search engine optimization, right?
Yeah, so my website is laurajawadmarketing.com, and on there people can reach out to me, and we can talk about website SEO specifically.
And that's the question I want to ask, because you started with this earlier, and I want to go back to this as a summary. Yeah. When someone we're just talking about optimizing your website.
Yeah.
You want to look at the content that you have on it and the backlinks or the links that you have to it.
Yeah. So it's those pillars we talked about is the keywords and content. That's like always the place to start, because like I said, like Google's not going to send people to your website if it's not a destination. And if you're not answering the questions that your people are asking. There's the tech, like making sure you're satisfying Google's minimum technical expectations of your website. And this is also important for streamers, right? Like you want to make sure you have like a fast, snappy website, and this is important for streamers too, right? You want to have like a fast internet connection and gear that can handle it, right? Like provide a good experience. So that's like for everybody.
So can you help me with that? This is really my first time anybody has ever said anything about a fast and responsive website. I'll just ask the question because it's on my mind. Like some of these platforms, like Squarespace or Wix, are these platforms building? It's a template-based website, but are they responsive enough to get the traction technically from Google?
They are getting better. So I'm working against my own bias right now. Like we all come with a bias, right? And so like the bias is that WordPress is the best.
Right.
But I think actually like Wix and Squarespace in particular are doing a pretty good job creating templates that can do pretty well in search. Having a WordPress website does not guarantee you're going to rank for something if it's not well optimized. And if you have a very well optimized Squarespace website with great content that really dials down on like the questions your people are asking, like that website will rank. So I think it's sort of like asking, is a one-page website okay? Right? Like what can you handle doing? If it's a one-page website, make sure you put it up. If a Squarespace website or a Wix website is like what you can manage from a tech perspective, go with Squarespace and Wix and just make it the best Squarespace and Wix website you can make.
Gotcha.
Right? I don't think the platform matters as much as it used to. There's people who will argue both ways, but I think a lot of times we are like in 2024. I think it's that like we come with these biases from years past.
Right.
I really think the margin between these platforms is diminishing.
Okay. I'm glad I asked that question because I never heard of the tech.
I mean,
part
I've
of the
run
website.
I've run into cases. I mean, so the thing that's like nice from a speed perspective with something like WordPress, like there's all these plugins, there's all this stuff you can do to speed up your website. When you've got something like Squarespace, I had a client whose website, when you're working with Squarespace, Wix, a templated website, the number one thing you can do to impact your page load speed is optimize your images, right? And after you do that, if the website is still slow, you don't have a lot of levers that you can press.
Gotcha.
Because you don't have control over what's going on the back end. And so sometimes that happens, like we optimize the heck out of like all the images on the website and it's still loading really slowly. And it's something that is going on the back end of Squarespace or on their server. And so, at that point, it's like, it is what it is. You go and you control the other things that you can control. But as I said, in general, I think that margin is really diminishing.
That makes sense. I never thought of that. So I'm glad I stopped. So we got the keywords and the content, which is, and the tech.
And then those backlinks matter, but the brand matters just as much. So it's backlinks like in the context of your whole multi-platform online presence, right? Creating like a cohesive multi-platform online presence, like consistent branding, consistent messaging, making the aesthetic of your streaming platforms and your website match, making sure the content and the messaging is consistent. It should be a seamless experience going through these different pieces of your ecosystem.
Gotcha. So can I give people a cheat sheet from a branding standpoint? I think that I use Canva, all right, to do a lot of my graphic stuff, small and it's very template based as well. I'm a template based guy. I do not like recreating the wheel, but they do have a button on there that you can go to for branding, and it asks you those simple questions. So you got colors. You can also write down your tagline. So if you do have a tag that you're saying, a really short tag that you're saying, to be consistent. So, and I'm talking about from a branding standpoint, it can just help you be in the mind when you say branding. There's some components to that. There's colors. There's in some cases there can be text and font, but there also can be like maybe some of your taglines that you use consistently throughout your social media and online that the system would then recognize just as well as your name and that tagline and those colors. This is who you are.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. And I think like that's the piece of your branding that has to do with your aesthetic, and it's super important. But then really I'm encouraging people to think a little bit larger about like their brand authority and like how do you inspire trust, both by Google and by people. And that is by creating an expert knowledge base, by creating a multi-platform presence, like being a guest on other people's shows, podcasts, blogs, right? Getting stuff to link back to you, and having that all, use a consistent name, a consistent like link, share consistent opt-ins, like have some consistency among these things. But branding is like what you look like, and that's important. And then the brand authority is like, okay, now how do you inspire trust?
I like that.
So we have to think a little more broadly than just the stuff that we can go and make in Canva. That stuff is important. Like it's the foundation. But then to really become an expert, or to demonstrate your expertise, I should say, because you can be an expert without creating a lot of public content. But to demonstrate your expertise and to build that brand authority, you really have to be out there with it.
And that's where your content on YouTube, videos, live streaming comes in, because now people can see, hear, and you can build what we call that know, like, and trustability. With this along comes that brand authority. Full circle here.
And
I like that.
To inspire the like and trust than by showing your face,
right?
Talking, letting people experience you. And I think these platforms also double down, like there's the branding piece and then the user engagement, right? Like keeping people engaged. So I think video does both of those things for you. Like video is incredibly engaging. So it's, it's incredibly good for building your brand on this other platform. It's also incredibly good for keeping people engaged with your brand in YouTube, on your website, wherever. I mean, I know Onestream lets you stream to multiple platforms at once, right? So wherever you're streaming, like wherever you're streaming, you're building your brand. Like I think Onestream Live is like such a cool tool for helping build that online brand reputation for this reason, that you really can like so easily touch so many platforms at once. And then from all those platforms, send traffic back to your website.
Back to your website, because all of them will have that link.
That's such a valuable tool.
That is so cool. And Erica talks about this all the time. Like, what do you say, Erica, about your videos if you're going live?
Oh, I try to be everywhere.
Yeah,
just try to be everywhere. If you have a place to stream, do it.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Would you say blogging on your YouTube community channel, I've heard that it helps with SEO. Is, in your personal opinion, would you say that's true or not?
So I don't know much about blogging on YouTube.
Okay.
I am familiar with YouTube from a video perspective. I've used it, my clients have used it. But what I've told people about LinkedIn, for example, is like, if you're gonna, because I had someone ask me a similar question, or tell me if this is a similar question, you know, should you post your blogs on LinkedIn as a post or on your website as a post? Like, is one of those better for you? And I will always say that posting it on your website is better for you, because now it is actually going to get indexed by Google. It is going to contribute to that topical authority. It's searchable forever. And then from like your LinkedIn or from whatever other social media platform, you can offer some kind of teaser to drive people to that post. But I would put the post, again, make the website the hub. And all these other things are like the spokes, the satellite around that hub, sending people back, always sending people back to the website. And so I would imagine that blogging in a YouTube community is the same thing. If you're investing all that time in written content, put it on your website, and then somehow drive people from that platform back to your website.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, and along with also duplicating it if you can. So there's some benefits to a LinkedIn blog or newsletter. The newsletter is actually sent out like an email to all of your people you're connected to. But that doesn't mean you can't have that same content on your website as a blog as well.
I mean, I think everyone should be putting their newsletters on their website. Like that, I mean, not everyone, but like I get a lot of emails from people that are essentially blog posts. And then I go look at their website and there's like 5 pages on their website. And I'm like,
that's the content. That's where the content needs to live. It's kind of like, I see it a second time. That's your brand authority that you could be building, right?
Sorry, what?
That's your brand authority that you could be building, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's going to work for you 24/7 in perpetuity if you put that on your website. If you just send it out to the people on your mailing list, then like a couple thousand people see it. And then it's lived its life.
It's dead, yeah.
So if you're writing like long informative emails, put them on your website. Put them on your website.
I love it. I love it. Laura, you have been.
Let me fill this out here.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you have a LinkedIn newsletter, it only goes to the people that signs up for it. It is not searchable. If you write a LinkedIn article, it will go to everyone you're connected to. So just so you guys would know that.
Gotcha.
That was it.
Thank you for that heads up. Laura, let me say this. This has been very informative today. And if anybody is watching this and is in awe with what Laura has taught us today, like I am, do me a favor, connect with her. How can they do that? What's the best way for people to connect with you to ask you more questions about their strategy?
Sure. So people can email me directly. Visit me on my website, laurajawadmarketing.com. There's a contact form there. They can send me a message or email me at info@laurajawadmarketing.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram under the confusing handle of @LauraJawadFitness, left over from my personal training days. But any of those places, I am active and check messages.
That's awesome. So guys, connect with her to get more information about what she's doing and how she can help you in your marketing and your strategy for SEO. And I really appreciate it. I'm hoping that we can turn this around and have you to come back on again to talk to us more about this.
I'd love it.
Yeah. Thank you. So I understand collaboration as well. So as often as we can help people with the content, we also help each other by collaborating together. So thank you for your time today. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Matt, for coming on as well. Hey guys, this has been fun for me. Erica, Laura, if you guys just hold what you have just 1 second for me here. Let me close this show out tonight. I had a good time. I love learning things. And we've been talking about search engine optimization all month here in the Streamers Hub. We're going to continue to talk about these things to kind of help you in your content. You're building content. It's all over the place. Let's be sure that we are optimizing the best way possible to help ourselves. Hey, guys, it's been great. And I'm hoping to see you again next Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the Streamers Hub.